Have you done your blood work before? Well, Test Your Levels just got some blood work done, and we're going to dive into that in this episode of Test Your Levels. Let's start this over again. I already fucked it up.
You're good. You're good.
Have you checked your blood work lately? We have just checked our blood work. We're going to be diving into our blood work in episode 21 of Too Much Test podcast. We're going to also talk about, by the way, when we get to my lipid panel, wait until you hear those numbers. They are absolutely insane. Insane, good or bad, you'll have to wait and find out. Also have a update on our cycles that we're going to be talking about. And we got a question about gear sources that we're going to dive into a little bit deeper. I'm here with TYL. How are you doing, brother? Tell us where people can find you.
What's going on, Sam? You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok under Test Your Levels. If you're interested in testosterone or my all-natural estrogen management supplement, you can check out hcgains.com. And other than that, you can find us here on the Too Much Test podcast. If you're a regular listener, and I know there are a few out there because I've seen a couple people tag me on Instagram, share this with your friends. Shoot it to them. Say, hey, buddy, you need to get on gear. You need to get on, well, no, you need to get on testosterone replacement therapy, not gear. What about you, Sam?
You guys can find me at sam.stolt on Instagram. Sam, I think it's _ Stolt on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter lately, at least. And if you want to check out some Trigger brand products, it's shop.letstalkpeds. Check out that name, shop.letstalkpeds.com.
I like it.
Or YouTube. I have a couple of YouTube channels. So if you just put my name in, I have one with 6,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube. So that one is more business related. And if you like this type of content, you can check out the other one that is around 1,000 subscribers. Both of them either Stolt Fitness or something, or Sam Stolt. One of those two things should be coming up. Or you could just check the links down below in this podcast. We'll probably have them set up there as well. So how you doing, brother? I always enjoy these conversations. They're always fun, and I always learn something from them.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been busy. Dave Demesquita is usually here. He's prepping for a show, so he's apparently doing cardio right now, and he can't get on through his phone. But yeah, everything's been going good. I got some blood work, and some of these tests are not like my expertise, so I'm going to read what Google has to say about it. But the first one, I did vitamin B12 because I've been taking B12, help with energy. Most of the B vitamins are pretty darn good for us. And I wanted to see, I was doing 0.35 milliliters twice a week. So I just wanted to see where my levels were. Ranges is 232 to 1245. I'm over 2,000. So
240 something to like 1,200?
Yeah, 1,250.
And you're over 2,000?
Yeah.
2,000 and what?
It doesn't say.
Oh, you're like too high for the chart to even read.
Yeah. They just capped it at 2,000. So I skipped a dose. So I'm gonna do it just 0.35 once a week moving forward, and I'll probably retest at some point. B12 is a pretty cheap test. And then I got and these are kind of like longevity based tests. These are a lot of ones that kind of can let you know if there's things that are wrong in your system. And the one I got was hemoglobin A1C. And that's like an average of glucose in your body. So that's something that you would look for if you were dealing with like pre-diabetes or you're eating too much sugar. It just gives you a good idea of what's going on in your body. And I got a 5.3. The range is 4.8 to 5.6. So kind of right there in the middle, a little on the upper end. I do like drinking whiskey from time to time.
So on that one, what are you going to do about that one? So we already know what you're going to do about your B12, right? You're going to drop that down and maybe space it out a little bit more in between them. What are you going to do about the I think it's HCA1C, the hemoglobin A1C. What are you going to do about that? Or are you going to try to like impact that at all? Maybe berberine or increase a little cardio or something? Or
I started taking, so before I was only taking berberine when I was eating kind of higher carb meals, and it wasn't like every time I did that I was like definitely on berberine. So I just started taking berberine every single day, just in the morning. And then I also added curcumin because Dave, that was like his number one supplement if he could only take it. And I'm like, well, shit, Dave's pretty smart about this stuff. So if that's like his number one go-to over like vitamin C, I was like, shit, for like 10, 12 bucks, I'll drop that into my protocol. So I put on my Instagram, like I took a picture of my morning pill protocol, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Mine is like, I have a peanut butter lid that just pour all the, like, there's like 14 or 15 different like capsules or things inside of there. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. One of the things that I started doing is like, I started not taking them. It's like a quarter cup of just pills. You just take a quarter cup of pills, but I started not taking them on Sundays. So I just leave one day where I don't take them at all. No, there's no data behind that. It was just like, I don't fucking feel like taking the shit on Sundays. What else? What
I
other
can
blood
see
work?
that. So I got all like some of the normal one, but the other one was homocysteine, and homocysteine. The range is 0 to 14.5. I got 7.5, so right there in the middle. And homocysteine, this is the one where it's like inflammation, not inflammation in your body. It is. So I'm going to read this because I'm not a genius in this stuff. Homocysteine is an amino acid, a building block of protein that's produced in the body. High homocysteine levels in the blood can damage the lining of the arteries. High levels may also make blood clot more easily than it should. Blah blah blah. What causes? So apparently, homocysteine is impacted by vitamin B and folate. So it says homocysteine is normally changed into other amino acids produced by the body. Vitamin B helps your body use the homocysteine. If your homocysteine level is too high, you may not be getting enough B vitamins. Also, you might not get enough folate, B6, or B12 in the diet. Replacing these vitamins often helps return the homocysteine level to normal.
So folic acid is a B vitamin, right?
I believe so. This article, whatever, this was the first one that popped up on Google. Just, I guess, put that one kind of separately.
So, you would actually pull this up about the curcumin. There is, looks like a study right here, and just because you had just mentioned this, the results show that curcumin's anti-diabetic activity might be due to its capacity to suppress oxidative stress and inflammatory processes. Also, it significantly reduces fasting blood glucose, glycate, hemoglobin, and body mass index. So that's interesting. In the curcumin, I brought it up because the previous thing, the HbA1c or whatever, hemoglobin A1c, right? The past 12 weeks glucose levels or whatever, average glucose levels, was on the slightly higher side, right? So curcumin could help with that, but also it says here that it suppresses oxidative stress, which is like the retardation of our cells and like just the aging of our cells and degradation of them over time, and reducing inflammation. So this could help with the homocysteine too.
Yeah, and I just started taking that. You know, I'm the kind. I walk through when I go grocery shopping at Walmart or something. I walk through the supplement aisle and I'm like, okay, that sounds like good stuff. You know, I'll pick that up and throw that in the stack.
What do you think before you get back into the blood work? Curcumin or berberine? Have you done anything like comparison wise between those two for blood sugar levels?
I have not. No, I've never. This is the first time I've ever taken curcumin ever. I mean, I could do the test tonight if you wanted. I mean, I did the berberine one and I drank alcohol and I got drunk pretty fast. I think I did it with Slin as well. So I could try curcumin and see what happens.
Yeah, you should do a test. So normally you have like 2 drinks or something like that. Like try it with berberine one night, check your blood glucose. Do the next night, but you don't have to test it.
So I mean,
just for scientific purposes, drink another 2 the next night, but try curcumin and see if it changes the blood sugar levels. That would be
interesting. I mean, it'll be super scientific test, but I'd give it a shot.
So what other blood work did you get done?
So the only other one, like more exotic, like longevity one, was C-reactive protein. And the range is 0 to 10, and it just says greater than 1. Or no, is the arrow, okay, less than 1. Okay, so that's good. Less than 1.
Oh, this is the one I was just asking you about. It's 8, well, mine is like high sensitivity. When I did this one, it was high sensitivity. but it was high sensitivity C-reactive protein or CRP. So mine was HS. I think I actually pulled it up.
It's C-reactive protein quant, which I'm assuming quantified. But while you're looking that up, I'll read what Google has to say about C-reactive protein. So the level of C-reactive protein or CRP increases when there's inflammation in your body. A simple blood test can blah, blah, blah. High sensitivity C-reactive HSCRP is more sensitive, blah, blah, blah. Tests can be used. That's what you had, yeah. Can be used to determine your risk of developing coronary artery disease, a condition in which the arteries of your heart are narrowed, coronary, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so this one's kind of what's floating around, how inflamed are your arteries, your blood, whatever. I'm not a doctor, but.
From my understanding, it's a measurement of overall inflammation in the body. Not like so if you were like, is my liver inflamed? It would be a different test. Is my kidneys inflamed or some like specific thing in your body inflamed? Then it would be a different thing. But with that, it is specifically the overall throughout your body. So what is your CRP? And tell me if it's mg per liter, like milligrams per liter.
It is mg/L, so milligram per liter.
Who do you guys think has a lower number? You can actually let us know in the review. You guys can take a second. If you're enjoying the content, leave us a review or tag us on Instagram. It's just test your levels or sam.stol and let us know who you think has a better CRP number. This is the overall inflammation in your body. And TYL, what is your number?
It just says less than 1.
Oh,
so I believe we did 2 different tests though. You have the high sensitivity, so
I can't give you my number then because we're comparing apples to apples. Mine is 2.4, but I did the HS, so it is high.
Yeah, so I could be 2.4. I mean, this one, I didn't realize that there were 2 different ones of these tests. I didn't realize. I would have done the high sensitivity if I had known that. But I mean, less than 1, I'll fucking take it.
Yeah. Yes. So that was the last one you got done?
Yeah, that was the last one out of the exotic stuff.
What was your HbA1c? The hemoglobin.
The hemoglobin one? Hemoglobin A1C is 5.3.
Okay, I was 5.1. Last time I checked, this is about 17 months ago or something like that.
Okay. Well, that's not
very,
too
very
bad.
Close. Yeah. I wouldn't mind it being a teeny bit lower than that. There was a doctor that I follow, and he's a holistic doctor. So I think that just means he's not a shill for fucking the drug companies, from how my perception of it is.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
And he was talking about how the HSCRP, so that's the high sensitivity C-reactive protein or overall inflammation in the body, he tries to get that down to like 0.0 something in his clients, because there's a theory out there that if you look at disease of any sort, it all stems from inflammation of some sort, right? Even cancers, and there's plenty of data out there that shows cancer can come from some type of inflammation. So when I heard that, I was like, oh man, I actually added in omega-3 to my supplement regime. And I think it was around that time when I added in vitamin E, because both of those are antioxidants, and that can help with certain things throughout the body. Plus, that's just 2 overall pieces. Was there like a game plan on how you want to go back? Are you going to be like, hey, in 3 months set a reminder, 4 months set a reminder, and redo this?
I'm going to start. So I fucking have a TRT channel, and I didn't get blood work in over a year. It was almost exactly a year. So I'm going to try to do every 6 months, get all these labs run, and see. I didn't hear what you said. But yeah, I need to start doing more blood work. I need to lose a little bit more weight. I'm going to actually do a cut. I want to do a cut. And well, let me just jump into my regular TRT blood work, which fucking weird, man. It's really weird. So it's crazy.
Do you have a question before you jump into that on your blood work though? Like whenever I get blood work done, at least I always make like at least one video. And if I get like 3 or 4 things checked, then I make like 3 or 4 videos on that. Do you take the same approach?
I typically, when I do the videos, I kind of go over all the lab work in that video. I'm planning on doing it. I just literally got the results back yesterday. But the reason, dude, my labs are crazy is it just doesn't make sense. Like I pulled 1,000, a 514, and now a 718. And my protocol is the same. I get it tested the same days, roughly the same time. And I'm using pharmaceutical grade cypionate. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm at 1,000 and then I'm 500. I got some low dosed gear, from a guy at the gym. This is pharmaceutical grade fucking cypionate. So it's just weird. So, I mean, I'm doing what any rational person would do. I'm jumping up my dose by 50 milligrams to account for that. So I went from 200 to 250. I've only been doing that this week. But it's just weird, man. So 1,000 total test, 33 free test. Then
what's the range for free test?
Oh, fuck. Man, I'm going to have to pull that up. Let me see here. For free test. It is 6.8 to 21.5.
Okay, so you're on the high end for that.
Oh yeah. I'm on the high end. But it's just so weird. 1,000 free, 33 free, 514 total, 28.7 free, and then 718 total, 35.2 free test.
So for everybody listening, if you're hearing these numbers and you're like, what the heck is he talking about? He's got hit, because we were talking about this a week ago, a couple days ago or something. He's got 4 blood tests, separate blood tests over the course of some period of time. And the dosage has stayed the same, right? The dosage stayed the same, right, throughout these blood tests?
Not for all of them. So, I mean, I'll put it on. Can I share this shit? Let me share just so you guys can see it.
We can describe it for anybody who's listening. He's taking his time right now. He's about to click on the share button. He just clicked on the share button. Now he's going to click on the share.
I'm just hiding my bookmarks. I'm just hiding my bookmarks for all these fucking weirdos.
Porn.
There we go.
He's got like a specific type of porn that he likes to watch. Okay, it is loaded. We'll describe this as soon as it comes up.
So it should be. Can you see that?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if I don't think the YouTube video is going to be able to. Anyway, fuck it.
We'll just describe this. Okay, so
yeah, I'll put it on the video when I edit it. But it's just weird, man. I mean, like those numbers just don't correlate right. They just don't. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm questioning, like, how accurate are these tests? I mean, these are all done by LabCorp. And they're like lipids. So lipids, well, actually, you wanted to cover lipids.
I did, yeah.
Good segue.
What are your lipids? Because mine were fucked up.
My HDL at one point was 35. Next test, it was 39. Now it's 42. HDL is the good cholesterol, so that's good.
Hey, that's awesome. That's a trend you like to see. Moving up. Where does that song go? Moving up.
And then I had 85 LDL. Then it jumped up to 98, and it's back down to 94. So that's good. Triglycerides went from 212 to 147 to 203. So they crept up a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know. My red blood count was good. Hematocrit was good. PSA 0.8, which is where it's been the whole time. So that's fantastic. Yeah. What about your You were telling me about you got some crazy lab work, and you even teased this in the intro.
Yeah. Well, so on your blood work, so if you so your triglycerides, right? That's your fat in your blood that's broken down to free fatty acids, I believe, to be used as energy. So one thing that we've talked about this before, but is actually more effective than statins at increasing HDL, because is more effective at increasing HDL than statins are. Statins are really good at lowering LDL, but they're not good at raising HDL, where B3, niacin B3. So if you add that into the routine at like 500 milligrams or 1,000, a lot of the research shows 1,000, right? But I'm taking 500 because it's so effective. It just might take longer to do it, but it's very, very good for lowering your triglycerides. It's the same effectiveness as like statins at lowering triglycerides and lowering LDL, and far more effective at increasing HDL for that. So I've actually added that into my routine, maybe about a month ago or so. And then I got blood work done. And well, let me go over what the last blood work I got done for my cholesterol. So my LDL was 98.4. So for anybody who's listening, anything below 100 is generally considered good. But if you're like on the cusp of jumping off the cliff with your LDL, that's not necessarily a good thing. Preferably lower than that would be good. My total cholesterol was 136, which is that's fantastic. Triglycerides were 60. So for total cholesterol, for reference, for anybody who's doesn't know, below 200 is good. So 136 is just great. And total cholesterol is made up of LDL plus HDL plus 20% of triglycerides. So you take those together, and then that's how they get calculated total cholesterol. My triglycerides were 60. So which is dope. This is previous blood work. And then I just got new blood work done, HDL, my old HDL was 26. So that's not good. That was very low. That was when I was doing
juicy.
a lot more science. That was almost, I actually switched up my cycle too, which we'll talk about in a moment. But my HDL was 48. So above 40 for anybody listening is generally considered good. So 48 is okay, that's perfect, right? I'd like it maybe in the low 50s or mid 50s. I would be I'm absolutely exactly where I want, right? My triglycerides in the current blood work were 52. So below 150 is good. So I'm 70% less than that. And my LDL was 222, which is, remember the reference is anything below 100 is good. So I am 2.2 times higher than the reference range. After doing a little bit of research, though, I found this paper that tested a bunch of people over a period of time, and people that had triglycerides that were less than 89, it actually increased the number for LDL, because when you calculate LDL, it's actually calculated off of your triglycerides are in the number for the calculating LDL in some fashion. And so when your triglycerides are very low, it actually throws that calculation off. And that, in the study that I looked at, it was anything below 90, 89 point something, right? And my numbers were 45% lower than 90. They were at 52. So I don't personally believe 222 is an accurate, even slightly estimate, given that when I checked this, 17, 18 months ago, my diet has improved. My supplementation has improved. My consistency with cardio has improved. These are all things that are going to be my fat intake has the amount of fat, healthy fats, I'm eating that avocado a day, maybe 2, coconut oils when I cook with most often, or olive oil, or sometimes ghee, very good fats. So the idea that 222 is representative of reality, I just don't think that's the case. And then the other thing was, once I started looking at the details of okay, well, how can I check if this is an issue, right? You had actually sent me the name of a test, but I could check the particulate size. So you have your LDL, which is that tar that's going inside of your veins, and it catches on the side, and then it just once it catches there, it's like the pipe in the for your sink or your toilet. There a little bit catches on a snag on the pipe or something, and then it just catches more shit on that, and then it builds up until there's a clot, right? And so that's what happens in our veins. But there's a small particulate size and a large particulate size, where the small is the more dangerous one, and the large is a fluffier one, is what's described online. So there's a test that I can actually do to check that. Well, do you remember that when you actually texted me? What was that up?
Yeah, I will. I just wanted to comment on your LDL cholesterol. So from what you were saying, it sounds like you cherry picked a research article that told you your LDL is perfect, so you can keep on doing gear. I found this one study that was if your triglycerides are low and your HDL is low, your LDL is going to be higher. And it's oh, hell yeah.
I thought you were looking up that number you texted me.
But the test for the lipids, I think it's called NMR lipid.
Okay.
I can't remember what the heck it is. I believe it's NMR. But anyway, it's basically like Sam was saying, it's looking at, the different sizes of your triglycerides, or not your triglycerides, your LDL cholesterol. So it gives you, it's kind of like the homocysteine and the C-reactive protein. It's not used to diagnose you or anything like that, but it's like saying like, okay, hey, you've got a lot of really small lipids. That's just the makeup of your blood. So, you may want to look at more, cardio, clean up your diet, this and that. What's interesting about my cholesterol is that, outside of the triglycerides going up a little bit, my HDL went up and my LDL went down, which is good. And I've been eating more eggs than a year ago when I got that test. I'm typically eating about 3 eggs a day. I'll cook 2 eggs with some fat-free cheese and some egg whites as well to add more protein. And then I'll usually have like a hard-boiled egg later on in the day. So you remember when we were growing up, you couldn't have more than too many eggs was bad. Cholesterol, real bad for you. And that turned out to be bullshit. The food pyramid is the most things you're supposed to eat the most of is carbs, and fats are bad. That was bullshit. Then it was saturated fats are bad. That's turning into bullshit. Now I have to wonder, are trans fats bad? Who knows? But it seems like anything the government's told us to eat has been wrong. And granted, some of that stuff was created in like the 50s and 60s, but fuck, if you're spending millions and millions of dollars researching what's a good diet for humans, maybe fucking update that thing every once in a while as you learn.
Given the information we know today, and like transparency has increased from like 60 years ago or whenever they put this thing into place, right? So if you think about like how much corruption happens today, and one of the things that at least I believe to be true about corruption is that as transparency in a system increases, corruption goes down, like they're inversely correlated. So if you have increased transparency, then bad actors who are doing like bad things and nefarious things tends to decrease, because then there's a higher probability that they're going to get caught because of the increase in transparency. So think if we understand the level of corruption today, can you just even imagine what it was like 60 years ago, dude? Like, holy shit. Like, that whole thing is probably just propaganda to sell product. Like, I don't have any faith in anything the government puts out today. I don't believe anything.
Well, think about it. Like, so it's crazy. Like, every group has like a lobbying arm to it. Like Florida fucking Sugar has a lobbying arm behind it. And then you've got fucking Florida egg farmers, egg keeper, whatever the fuck they are. They have their lobbying arm. So like, who's to say that the Florida Sugar or Florida Wheat or whatever, this is obviously on a national scale, their lobbying power is like, yo, people are eating more eggs and they're not eating as much cereal and toast. Like, let's do some studies. Let's find some studies that make it look like carbs are fantastic. They provide energy, to get you through the day, give you that energy to make it to lunch, and that's everything's run by money. And when there's money involved, yeah.
There's a lot of nefarious stuff. Like I completely agree, especially when you look at like I don't know if we've touched on this, but sugar, right, which is carb, has the similar effect on, I think it's dopamine, but it also works very similar to the mechanism of cocaine in the body. So if you look at what sugar is, it's a kind of like how we think of like DMAA, it's like, oh, DMAA works awesome, right? But like it's hard to get because the government makes it challenging, because good shit the government doesn't want people to know about. Or like ephedra, right? Well, the sugar is like the negative thing, right, that they actually push on society, because when you look at sugar, it has a similar effect to cocaine on the brain. It also, if you have elevated blood sugar levels, like you increase the risk of like 10 different types of cancer, diabetes, the one that starts with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, like all these other things are from like high blood sugar. And this is what they were pushing. Like 2/3 of your diet should be carbohydrates. It's like such utter garbage. Like,
And what's interesting is, a lot of people will say like, oh, I'm not going to eat fruits when I'm dieting because there's carbs, and from what I read though, I was reading something about that, like honey would actually like lower your blood glucose levels. I can't remember exactly why, but I think there's different types of, so like, I think the different types of sugar, think about it as, the Incans or the Mayans, and they were eating coca leaves for energy. There's a difference between chewing on a leaf and slowly getting a little bit seeping into your gums, as opposed to just straight up purified, like raw ingredient. That's cocaine. So putting a couple leaves in your mouth gives you a little bit of energy, keeps you moving a little bit. But when you purify that and snort it up your nose, it's a whole different ballgame. And I think that's kind of, there's sugar in fruit, obviously, but when you take it from corn, distill it down to high fructose corn syrup, I think that's, I'm not saying it's as bad as cocaine, but you know what I'm saying? It's more pure, direct to you kind of product.
I've got a buddy who is from Peru, and in Peru, cocoa plants are legal. So you can just get cocoa plants and just fucking have them, or like tea, or chew on the leaves and stuff like that over there. Like, could you imagine like having cocoa in the backyard and you just use it in an intelligent manner? Like, what if like the processing it was illegal, but like you could have cocoa plants, like, and then that was your tea instead of like caffeine, right? Or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? Like just a little, I wouldn't be opposed to utilizing something like that. I think that would be
I'm cool with it. I mean, I've tried the pure version. I might as well try the leaves.
Right? We'll say that for a moment. You said you're going to start cutting. I'm going to start cutting too. I'm almost at 250 pounds. I know several months ago, I was like, hey, I'm going to get to 250 pounds. So I was at 246 about a week ago. I'm weighing again on a Friday, so hopefully it'll be like 247, 248. And then I'm going to start cutting. And I'm curious to know how you're going to approach your cut, like what you're going to do.
So, I mean, it's essentially, it's not anything crazy. I'm not like cutting, like not bodybuilding cutting. I just want to lose a little bit of weight. Well, obviously I made a smart choice by jumping up my testos to 250 because, I don't want to lose any muscle while I'm doing this cut. But I mean, overall, I think I'm going to, because listen, I'm 40 years old. All right. So I know a lot of maybe younger guys, 25, you're like, shit, I'm trying to get massive as hell. Like, I'm at the point where like, okay, I do want to get some more muscle, but it's not the most important thing. Once you hit a certain age, you start thinking about longevity. Once you start having friends and family members that get like cancer and horrible shit and, stuff like that, it changes your perspective on life a little bit. When you're younger, you feel indestructible. I mean, I remember pinning tests in my shoulder when I was 18. I had no idea what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? But so I think for maybe a month or two, I may do like 1 week weights, 1 week pure cardio and sauna. Obviously the diet has to be there, but if I lose a little bit of muscle, I'll just jump up to 300 for a few weeks and build that back up. You've already got that muscle memory. And I remember Dave was saying, it's like, you don't lose muscle that fast. Like when you're in a sustained prep, like for, 12 weeks before a show, that's a little different than taking a week off from the gym and running on the treadmill.
Yes. Have you ever, I've been doing it for about 10 months now, and it has a ton of, so like with the triglycerides, with the blood sugar levels, right? With like a bunch of lipid, your overall lipid panel, a bunch of different things, is fasting. So I've been doing it once a month for 25 hours. And when you like have sex and then like she's on vacation seeing her family or whatever the case is, and it's been a week, she comes back and you have sex again, you're like, oh man, that was fucking really good, right? Because it's been so long since you had sex. Well, that's what it's like when you do a fast. Not only does it have all these, it's also good for your blood pressure, all these health benefits to it. It also, your food tastes better. And when you think about from a cutting standpoint, you have, say, if somebody has 3,000 calories a day and times 7, right? So whatever that comes out to be, 21,000 calories for the week or something. If you take out one day, you're at 18,000 for the week, right? So you're at a caloric deficit for the week. period. And you don't have to change anything about your other days. And you're having all of these health benefits. So you can continue training the exact same way that you're training and just do a 24-hour fast every second. Whatever day is easy for you. You're like, Monday is they're busy. I go back into work and then I do this and do that thing. Okay, cool. Sunday night at X p.m., stop eating and then eat again Monday night or something like that. And then you have a 24 hours and it automatically reduces the caloric intake for the week. Plus you get all the health benefits on top of it. And it's super easy to do. Like when I saw
super easy, huh? Not eating for a whole day.
No, it is. It really is though. One of the biggest benefits that I noticed from this is independent of the health benefits, independent of like if I'm trying to cut, right? Independent of like the mental clarity, right? Independent of the massive amount of energy. And I'm like pretty fucking high energy at this. You save so much time. You don't even realize how much time you save until you go through and do it. Because I eat, generally speaking, 3 times a day and then maybe like 1 to 3 snacks a day. And when you don't have to take the time to go make that food, right? Because you work from home, I work from home, and you get up and you probably don't like necessarily meal prep because you're like, I'm at home. I can just take a break and I can take 10 minutes and fucking put something on the stove quick and just like put shit together, right? So it saves me so much time, like to the point where I almost want to. When I start cutting, I'm actually going to incorporate it potentially weekly, like every Sunday for the duration of my cut is just drop calories on Sunday so that I don't eat it all on Sunday. That way I don't have to drop any calories on the other days of the week. I can still eat 3 to 5 pounds of meat a day. I can still have like 2 avocados a day. I can still have coconut oil and like, my burgers without bread or whatever kind of thing all the time. You know what I mean? I don't change any of that because I'll be in caloric deficit and just increase cardio slightly.
It's an interesting way to think about it that, if you're cutting out one day of your eating, 3,000 calories, you go from 21,000 to 18,000 just like that without changing anything else. It's really interesting. I fasted for 24 hours once in my entire life. And it was, I think I was getting some of that lab work done and I had to fast. And after I got back, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me try to go for 24 hours. And it's interesting. So for the first like 12, 14, like I definitely felt hungry, but you do hit a point toward the end where it doesn't really bother you. It's not in your head that you're hungry. So I'm not sure if you experienced the same thing.
It was like I always felt very productive every time I do the fast because it's like I know if I just sit around I might start thinking about food, so I always just try to like be even more productive. And plus I have the extra time that probably helps with feeling productive because if I'm spending an hour and a half to 2 hours a day just like prepping, and because I said 10 minutes to like throw something on the stove and do that, but we know like you'll like put something in the stove and then you'll like sit there for a second while it's like warming up a little bit and you'll flex around and start getting other shit together, and before you know it, it's 45 minutes later and you just did a meal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I noticed that I have an increase in like energy. You're like that time of day where it's either the time of day, like in the afternoon, we feel that lethargic moment, right? Or it could be at any meal. If I just eat like past a certain level of calories in the meal, I feel tired. It could be a breakfast meal, lunch, or dinner meal. If I eat past a certain level of calories, I have a increase in like how I feel tired wise or like lethargic wise. So that goes away completely. You don't notice that at all, or the slowing down, or like the mental fog you feel after like a decent sized meal, because it just goes away and you feel very clear headed and focused on everything. So what do you think? Because that way you're not going to necessarily lose any muscle, or like you're probably going to lose a tiny little bit of muscle, but it's going to be different. You know what I mean? Because you're not focusing on cardio at all. You could just be like, okay, 1 day a week, I'm going to just fast, and then you don't have to change anything else, or unless you want to add in some additional cardio, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that's interesting. And one thing that may work, and I actually want to switch topics. I have a really cool article that I saw, and it reminded me instantly of Sam. But I'll probably look bigger even with that less muscle mass just from being more cut, so that'll be a benefit as well. But so I was scrolling through like my Google like article feed, right? And it was like the headline was like new medicine can help help people lose weight and gain muscle. And I'm like, well, fuck, that's me right there. I'm clicking on this. I don't care if it's clickbait. It may not be. And so it was an article on sarcopenic obesity is a condition that involves age-related muscle loss accompanied by obesity. So it's basically like, as you get older, you lose muscle mass. That's just the way it is. And for a lot of people, especially people that get heavier as they lose muscle mass, they lose mobility, they lose bone density, they're more prone to get injured, stuff like that. It's fucking getting old. And I was reading it. A new study in mice has shown that a drug called BAM15 can prevent the loss of skeletal muscle mass and function and prevent weight gain. And I was like, oh, shit. And the study suggests that BAM15 achieved this by reducing inflammation and improving the function of mitochondria, the powerhouses of cells. And it went on to saying it has like an uncoupling effect. And that reminded me of DNP, which I'm not super familiar with, but we'd mentioned BAM15 before. It's relatively new. What is BAM15?
So BAM15 is something that I would love to try if anybody wants to have this sample. But BAM15,
did you say it's real expensive?
It is very, very expensive, but it may come down as like more and more people become aware of it. It is a mitochondrial uncoupler, so it's very similar to DNP in that you aren't increasing activity levels in terms of like being more active, doing more cardio, more working out, and you're not changing your diet, and your like metabolic rate, so like the rate, your resting rate of which you burn calories, right? You're a dude that's this height that weighs this much, that has this much muscle mass. You burn so many calories just even at rest. That metabolic rate actually increases so that you drop body fat with it. DMP has some peripheral effects, right? So if you've got a sniper, right, you can just hit like one target. But if you have a shotgun, you fuck up a lot of stuff, right? Because the spread of the shotgun shell, what is that stuff in a shotgun, right? It like goes much wider. Okay. Well, BAM15 is far more targeted like a sniper, where DMP has these peripheral benefits. So everybody knows about the heat from DMP. By the way, DMP is probably going to be in my stack for cutting. Hypothetically, right? But DMP has a thermogenic type of effect, and it increases your body temperature drastically, where there's not just the uncoupling of the mitochondria to increase like your metabolic rate. Like we talked about having a car in first gear. So if you put your car in first gear and you're driving 30 miles an hour, you can hear the engine, right? Because the revolutions per minute, your RPM is up higher, right? Because in first gear, you need to go at say 4,300 RPMs, just go 35 miles an hour. Where in second gear, maybe you could do that at 2,800 RPM or something. So DNP increases that in your body so that it heats up the engine, because you just have more revolutions per minute with DNP, where from my understanding with BAM15, at least in the two studies that I looked at, it did not have that effect. It also has an awesome effect on your blood sugar levels, right? This is dope. Like, this is such an awesome compound. I would love to have this just like on deck to utilize every once in a while, like maybe once or twice a year. Very positive effects of increasing your insulin sensitivity, like weight loss, just like awesome. Imagine stacking BAM15 or DMP and semaglutide, right? Semaglutide is a
diabetes medicine.
Yeah. But it also,
berberine.
But semaglutide reduces your appetite. So it's approved from the FDA for like a fat loss type of thing, because it's
interesting.
That's another thing you could potentially test. Shop down. Let's talk PEDs.com.
Well, it's interesting what you just said. sarcopenic obesity involves a decline in energy expenditure instead of excess intake of calories. So like you're saying, so that obesity, it's slowing down the metabolic rate, kind of how the body is naturally burning calories.
Can you explain that again?
It says sarcopenic obesity involves a decline in energy expenditure instead of excess of calories. Thus, treatments that could increase energy expenditure could help combat the disease. So that's what it's just basically, they're just saying that's like the opposite of what BAM15 does. BAM15 is increasing that metabolic kind of rate of where you're burning calories. Blah, blah, blah. They've already shown that BAM15, a mitochondrial uncoupling agent, could prevent obesity in young mice maintaining a high-fat diet. The present study is aimed to assess the ability of BAM15 for older and aged mice. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, it worked.
Yeah.
They lost body weight. They lost body weight and gained muscle. So that's pretty impressive. Now, what is BAM15? Is it a peptide? Is it just a powder?
It's a powder as far as I know, but it's actually a derivative of like DNP in some way, where it doesn't have like the structure of it, like at a chemical level, is a little bit different. So it doesn't have. So BAM15 does not increase your body temperature like DNP does. DNP also has another like negative effect, I think, with your like electrolytes or something, causing some type of issue there or something. And BAM15 doesn't have that effect as well. But what's
really cool? What's really cool about medicine? And granted, I'm not a huge fan of the pharmaceutical industry, but what's cool is, like even like aromatase inhibitors and like SERMs, like there's like first generation that did what they needed to do, but had side effects. And then you have generation 2 that's a little more targeted. And then you have generation 3. And I'm interested to see like the 6th and 7th generation. Like what's the 5th generation of BAM15? Like, did they distill it even further down to where it has no side effects or nearly none, and it's 3 or 4 times more potent? So that's interesting. And I think we're just at the infancy of medicine and knowledge of the body in general.
I'm taking a note here to actually do a separate video on this, because if you think about BAM15, positive effects on your lipids, positive effects on your blood glucose, positive effects on your insulin sensitivity, positive effects on increasing your metabolic rate, right? And then you stack that with a growth hormone secretagogue, right? Like MK677, hexavalent, epimorelin, CGC or something. And then something like a GLP agonist, like a very small dose of like the semaglutide, where it reduces your appetite. Like that could be a stupid cutting agent, right? Because semaglutide reduces your appetite. It also improves your blood glucose levels. It also increases your insulin sensitivity. Like this could be a longevity thing, right? Because we talked about earlier how sugar and like high blood sugar levels it's associated with like 5 to 10 different types of cancer, right? Like this could be.
And you're talking about a cutting stack that has no stimulants in it. I mean, you could obviously add that in, but that's a non-stimulant. That's interesting. So I guess, BAM15 sounds pretty freaking awesome, and it sounds really good for the population. So sure as fuck isn't going to get approved by the FDA.
Correct. Yeah.
But the fucking eye drops that grow your eyelashes and can like permanently blind you, they prove that shit.
I'm like talking about this because so I just updated my cycle, and I'm getting excited about this because I don't have BAM15, but I may or may not have some DNP for fertilizing my plants, and and I may or may not have some semaglutide. May or may not have some MK677. So that might be, because then I can reduce the dose of all of those, right? Because if you're putting the total, because I think about stacking like that, right? So if you're going to stack something, I see people take like say 500 milligrams of test and then 300 milligrams of DECA, and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to take like say MK677 and insulin or something like that, and they just take the raw number and they add it to it instead of thinking about a way to put them together that allows you to reduce the total milligram load on your body. Last time we talked, at the 225 milligrams of test. And I was thinking about going to 300. So this is the first week. So I'm upping it from 225, which has been it for 2 to 3 years. I'm going to 250 milligrams a week. I'm stopping all SARMs, but I'm adding, I'm going to talk to you about this, 5 milligrams of Tren, which is I think the third week, and 5 milligrams of testosterone base. So I have 260 milligrams total of anabolic load in there. Plus, I'm not considering MK677 because I'm going to continue researching with that a couple times a week. But now after this conversation, like if I start cutting on May 1st, you should get really lean. You should try this. Just get really lean sometime. You'll love it.
I need some BAM 15, bro. I can't do this on my own. I got to be enhanced.
Dude,
I was going to ask you real quick. How much did you say you weighed?
246 as of like a week ago.
Bro, why are you torturing yourself? Just order like 2-3 fucking pizzas. Just fucking tear it down. Just get on the scale, jam some water, just hit the number, take the picture for Instagram, and then cut.
Right?
Slow build. Just dude, bro. Have like a massive cheat meal. Hit up like a Chinese buffet or something and just tear it down. Bring the scale with you.
Weigh myself right after the meal. Take a picture.
Keep your phone in your pocket. Buy a little pocket knife.
I plan on starting to cut. My girlfriend's going to start to cut on May 1st. You should do this with us. We've got some other people doing it as well. But I would love to be like 252, 253 after you know what I mean? Like right on the very last day of the month to be at a, way over. This is literally the fattest I've ever been in terms of body fat. And test your levels has seen like pictures on Instagram. Like I wouldn't say I'm terribly high in body fat, but like relative to myself, I'm very high in body fat. And I'm just ready to drop some of this body fat personally. But you should do this too and just do because this would create awesome content for YouTube. Like you do okay, I'm going to do a 90-day cut and see just as like a document. Hey, the video is like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, week 1, and just talk about progress. Week 2, you know what I mean? It would inspire people.
I like it. That means that I have to actually eat better and do cardio. Man, I fucking hate cardio, bro. I was talking to my buddy. He was talking about getting on the step machine. Bro, I fucking hate that thing. That thing gasses you so bad.
What about what level do you do the Stairmaster on?
0. I don't do that shit. I do the treadmill.
Okay. What level do you do the treadmill at? Where do you put it in incline or do you just walk?
Yeah, I mean, I'll typically put it on like a 3 incline. I'll typically do it like 3 to 3.5 when I'm on there.
So why don't you put it at 10 or 15 incline and do 2 or 2.5 speed?
10 or 15 incline?
Yep.
I mean, so I'm just like walking like this.
But reduce the speed. Are you doing the elliptical or are you doing the treadmill?
Treadmill.
Okay. So yeah, try that. Or another thing that you can do as a hack to just increase the number of calories is reverse walking. There's research out there that shows that if you walk backwards on a flat surface versus walking forwards at the same speed, you burn 40% more calories. If you do it at like a 5-degree incline, you actually double your calorie expenditure versus doing the same thing, walking at an incline the other direction. Plus, it helps with your increasing blood flow to your knees because it's something you don't do. Plus, it helps with like the hip flexibility and it helps with balance. So even if you're like, I'm doing 15 minutes a day every day when I go to the gym, and you just switch it to like walking backwards, even at the 3 or maybe bump that up to the 5 because the research I think was done at 5 degrees. At 5 degrees, you'll burn double the number of calories, which then you're like, okay, so I don't need to do 45 minutes of cardio. I can still only do 15 minutes of cardio, but I'm able to increase how many calories I actually burn during that time.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before. And that actually, dude, I had a note on here for, and I actually removed it because I didn't think we were ever going to talk about it. But there's the knees over toes guy on Instagram, where his was. I heard him on Joe Rogan. I had heard of him before, but essentially he's real big on getting the sled and walking backwards with the sled. It's not like crazy weight, but apparently the idea is, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently they had like lumberjacks or something in fucking Switzerland or somewhere. And they were always, they would get the hooks on the trees and they'd be pulling the trees backwards through the forest. And I guess someone noticed that they didn't really have knee issues. And then apparently now at this point, I think it's the Japanese or the Chinese, I can't remember. They actually, for older people that have knee issues, they tell them to walk backwards. And I can't remember all the science, but I mean, I think it like helps like strengthen ligaments, stuff like that. So it's interesting. I tried it a few times. I tried it twice, and I didn't notice any results immediately, so I stopped doing it.
So this is the Knees Over Toes guys has like inspired me to do some of the things that I'm doing and dive into more of the research on that. And my knee, on my right knee, has been bothering me for maybe since 2015, 16-ish time period. And not like perpetually, but like it would sometimes bother me and then sometimes not. And then over the last, say, 48 months, it was pretty bad to like the point where you feel it every single day. And relative to last year to this year, my knee is so much better. So I'm doing either sleds or sissy squats. So those squats where your knees go past your toes, like way past your toes. Those ones you're like, oh my God, that looks like he's going to hurt himself kind of thing. Sissy squats, I did those for the whole first quarter during all my workouts. So if I was doing chest, I'd do 3 sets of sissy squats for like 20 reps per set and 3 or 4 sets of them. And then I do like backwards walking sometimes. I also do the sled backwards. And this is like the best my knee has felt in this year relative to last year. It's amazing. Like
interesting. Okay, so I'm looking at a picture and there's a guy in like what kind of looks like a calf machine almost. Kind of it's got a pad behind his calf and it's got something keeping his leg in, and he's doing squats like kind of like this. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but
on an angle, say your feet are flat on the ground and they're like 2 feet away from the wall or 1.5 feet away from the wall, and then your back is leaning against the wall. Now try to go down basically as far as you can, but keep your feet in the same spot. So as you do that, your knees go forward past your toes. Try to keep your feet planted. So I use a hack squat machine and I just change the angle at which I'm in there, and then my knees go past them until they hit the edge of like the machine or whatever. I can take a picture and text it to you or something. But I did that for the whole first quarter, and now this next quarter I'm doing it like twice a week on my workouts and stuff like that. And I am definitely a fan. Because you think of like, I also do tibialis training. Do you do that like regularly?
No, the fucking gym that I go to doesn't have one of those machines. That kind of pisses me off.
You can do it leaning against the wall. So my gym has one, but like sometimes I'll do them against the wall. So you kind of like lean into the wall a little bit with your shoulder blades. So not necessarily your butt, but your shoulder blades leaning into the wall, and your feet maybe like a little bit off the wall. Depending if you go further away from the wall, it makes it more challenging. So if you have your feet maybe like a foot off the wall in terms of your heels, then you keep your heels on the ground and you just bring your toes up as high as you can. That way you don't have to have the machine, and you could do this as like a superset to your squats or something.
Interesting.
And activates it because it's the antagonizing muscle to the calves. And we train calves, but we don't train this muscle, so it creates muscle imbalance. It'd be like training biceps every time you did arms and never training triceps. Then that's what we do for the tibialis.
But you want to hear something crazy? I haven't trained biceps or triceps individually in probably 2 or 3 months because I thought that I had, my bicep was going to tear because I felt that like kind of twinge. So I haven't done biceps I haven't done biceps or triceps by themselves at all in the past 3 months. It's only thing I've been doing is, chest and back. And dude, I've not noticed any like loss of size in either of them. I mean, I'm not like massive, but I mean, I need some better lighting, but I mean, I have pretty decent sized arms and I've been working out in 3 months. That's just from chest and back. If
you're listening to this, TYL is flexing and he just about ripped his shirt because his arms are so fucking massive. So you're just training bicep, you're just training chest and back, not legs?
No. I'm saying I haven't. So my normal schedule, if I go 5 days, and life happens sometimes, but it would be Monday's chest, Tuesday's legs, Wednesday's back, Thursday's shoulders, traps, and then Friday would be biceps, triceps.
So you were just taking Fridays off now?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, sometimes leg days every once in a while. I was going to ask you another question. Do you work out your forearms separately?
I used to, but I don't today. There's a slight lingering teeny bit of like a thing I have in my right elbow where it's like, I think it's the ulnar nerve is aggravated slightly. And by you asking me that question, I might actually try to do that. I think it's the flexors. Is that the ones on the inside of the forearm? I don't remember.
I believe so.
And then the extensors are on like the back of the forearm, maybe. Because I was literally thinking about this earlier today in the gym. The time where I noticed the like discomfort in my elbow the most is on back day, where I might go a little bit heavy. Like back day is the only day I can, like, because it's easy to pull a lot of weight, I feel like. So I go with something that's relatively high in weight because I don't feel like it's a injury prone movement at all. But then that's when I feel it in my forearm sometimes. So this is actually, that's training like your flexors, right? Like the squeezing portion, right? And instead, maybe I should actually incorporate some more specific stuff for the extensors or the opposite, the top part of the arm, because this has been like an issue, not like a really bad issue with my elbow, but every once in a while I notice it. And you bringing this up and then me thinking this out loud is probably very helpful, and we'll start to incorporate those. Is that you? Do you do like specific exercises for forearms?
I have not very much lately. One thing I was going to mention, dude, is that I was having kind of some elbow issues as well as some forearm twinges, and also for my bicep. Is, dude, stretching out your hands. I don't know why. I do this before I do back. Pull my pull my arm back kind of as far, and then also like that, and stretch it out as much as possible. And then I also kind of rub my bicep. But no, I do forearms. See, forearms are tough, man. When you work out,
you just do those in the bedroom.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I mean, that's. But when I would do forearms, dude, the best machine I've ever seen for forearms. Have you ever heard of the gripper from Hammer Strength?
No.
Oh, bro, it's fucking. So if you picture, I'll try to do it on the screen here. So these would be like kind of the handles, right? And there's two of them. One of them that you put your hand on, and then the other one that the weight's connected to. And so you can throw like two plates on there, and it's just two thin metal kind of bars, and you're just squeezing, you're pulling that weight up. And dude, look it up online, the gripper. It's sick, dude. It's I mean, it's like a full, it's like a squat for your forearms where it works the whole forearm. But one of the other ones,
Hammer Strength.
Hammer Strength. It's got a Hammer Strength. But then the other one,
I see.
See what I'm talking about?
That looks dope. That would probably be really dope. That would give you a really good pop.
But because the one with the with the bar and the weights and the rope where you're going like this, like I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of that. The one I would typically like to do is I'll get the normal bar, the 45-pound bar. I'll probably throw like 25s on each side, and you put it behind your back and flex like a curl almost, and then you put it in the front and kind of do like a tricep, And dude, it's just when you're done with forearms, bro, it's just like you go to drive home and you grab the shifter and you're trying to turn your keys. You feel like you're fucking like you're gimped. It's a tough muscle to work out.
As my brother has his own gym at his place, and this is in his basement, and he keeps just acquiring additional equipment to put in that, right? And he really enjoys doing that. Like, he doesn't ever see himself getting a gym membership anymore. And I've always enjoyed the gym kind of thing, but just ever so slightly, it's like, well, when I get my penthouse on the beach, maybe I can get 2 floors and just turn the whole have say level 20 and 19. I'll take level 19 and turn that into a gym, and just like the whole floor is my own gym with exactly the pieces of equipment that I want. That would be pretty dope, actually.
Bro, level 18 is gonna fucking hate you.
Well, luckily I won't be able to hear them because I'll be 2 levels above them. I'll be up to level 20 when they start bitching or complaining. So if you guys, I thought I had a question, but I completely forgot what I was going to say on that. But
while Sam's looking at that, we're probably going to wrap it up after this question. Got to make it quick, but share this. Share this with your buddies. Let them know they need TRT. They need to get in the gym. They need some BAM 15. They need to fast. But share the podcast, help it grow. We really appreciate it. We don't make money doing this. We do this for fun. Check out Sam on Sam Stolts, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, multiple YouTube channels. He doesn't even remember the name of them. He's got so many. You can find me, just search Test Your Levels, one word, on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you want to check out a testosterone supplement or a natural estrogen management supplement called No AI that I just dropped, check out HC Gains, and I'll let Sam plug he's got a whole line of stuff. He's got some cool stuff. He's got I'm gonna have to get some of this stuff. I think he's got some BAM 15 in there. I think he's holding out on us.
When you're ready for some of the semaglutide for your cut, let me know, dude. Like, yeah. If you guys want to check out any cool research things just for research purposes, you can check out shop.Let's Talk PEDs. Got some awesome stuff. Also, come over to Instagram, say what's up, say sam.stolt, or on Twitter. If you like crypto-related stuff, we didn't talk about crypto. We should definitely do a whole show on crypto, though. If you like crypto-related stuff, jump over to Twitter or find the YouTube channel. I think it might just be Stolt for the YouTube channel, or youtube.com/Stolt or Stolt Fitness. And that channel, I cover crypto-related stuff. DeFi. If you think of crypto as Bitcoin and that's what comes to your mind, that is a very, very tip of the iceberg. It is way bigger than that. And you have no idea. And if you start getting into it now and you start educating yourself now on crypto, you're going to be so far ahead of the game. And then the other one is this type of content, and that one might just be Sam A. Stoll or something like that. So appreciate you guys. Don't forget to share this content and actually leave us a review. We'd love to hear the reviews on this content, whether it's on the YouTube channel or on any of your favorite podcasts. Appreciate you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you. Too Much Test Podcast, episode 27. Share, like, comment, and see you next time.
Peace.